What's up, everybody? Gridiron Gilly Show. I'm the host, Gridiron Gilly. This show's for anybody who's ever worn pads or worn out the remote watching football. You don't have to play the game, you just have to love the game, and I hope that's why you're here. On this episode, I'm going to break down 10 college football games coming up this weekend, Week 10 college football. I'm going to briefly, real quickly, talk about last week, because last week I talked about 10 other games. Got a lot of them wrong. But I finished it out. The evening games that I picked, did pretty good on those, I feel like. But let's run through it real quick. UCLA, Indiana. Had Indiana win that, and they did. Ole Miss, Oklahoma. I'll let some people talk me into Oklahoma. I don't know why Oklahoma was favored in that one. I didn't understand it. I believed Ole Miss would win, but I let some people talk me into Oklahoma, and inevitably, I bet Oklahoma, and that did not happen. South Florida, Memphis. I took South Florida. Memphis came from behind and won that one. Then we have Northwestern Nebraska. I took Nebraska. They won. SMU, Wake Forest. I took SMU. Wake Forest beat them, giving SMU their first conference loss in that conference, other than the ACC championship last year. Kansas State, Kansas. I took Kansas. Kansas State put it on them. Missouri, Vandy. I took Missouri. And Vandy beat them in a good defensive game. And the last three, BYU, Iowa State. I took BYU. I'm not going to bet against BYU until they prove to me that I should, and they have not yet. So BYU, I took them and they won. Illinois, Washington. I took Washington. They won. And Texas A&M at LSU. I said Brian Kelly would get fired, and he did. If you look at my wall up here, we've got the Tennessee Titan flag, coach fired. We have the LSU flag, coach fired. Right here we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was actually fired as the Raw GM long time ago, over 20 years ago. If you know what I'm talking about, then we would be friends. We got over here, we got SMU, Rhett Lashley. He's obviously a candidate for some head coaching jobs at some bigger schools. He's an Arkansas alum. Maybe he goes Arkansas. I don't think so, though, because Arkansas, they've already had one SMU experience with Chad Morris, and that didn't work out. Rhett Lashley, he's got some explosive offenses, but Arkansas, they're explosive on offense right now. Arkansas's weak point is their defense, and SMU's got like the worst pass defense in the country, so probably not going to work out there. Let's see what else we got. We got Nebraska right here. Go Big Red. Matt Rule. His name's been out there for the Penn State job. We'll see about that one. And then over here we got A&M, Texas A&M. Again, this week I'm wearing my Texas A&M hat because you might say, Gridiron Gilly, are you a Texas A&M fan now? Are you a bandwagon? Well, let me tell you this. About over 10 weeks ago, I said Texas A&M would be in the SEC championship. Right now, it's them and Alabama, neck and neck, right there, as the two contenders for the SEC championship. So I'm gonna obviously support Texas A&M because I on record said that they would be in the championship. Okay, Texas Tech, I said that them or Utah would be in the Big 12 championship. So I've said a lot of great things about both of those schools this year. Michigan, I said that they would be, they would upset some teams in the Big 10. That one hadn't panned out so much, but it is what it is. And then Clemson, they were obviously a preseason favorite for a national championship contender. I took them week 1 over LSU. That didn't happen. We all know Clemson has had a down year this year. But I really didn't think they were a legitimate contender. I figured they would be a contender for the conference, but not in the playoffs whenever that time came. Now, and like I said that there are several teams in the ACC that can upset you any given Saturday, and that would be Duke, that would be Pitt, That would be Louisville, and there was another team in there. Also, Georgia Tech would be a contender, and they are. They're probably leading the ACC right now, though, as a front runner. Now that Miami took the upset to Louisville. But anyways, that's enough about the past. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about this weekend, college football, because we got some big ones. The first game I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to try to take up too much time. I ramble a lot, but I'm just going to go. I'm going to wing it, and sometimes I might get a little emotional and passionate and just talk. You got to listen to me. You gotta hang on and listen to me. You got to give me suggestions, comments, and let me know what you think. So the first game, we got number 9 Vanderbilt at number 20 Texas. Betting odds have Texas favored -2.5. Total 45.5. Texas money line -140. Vandy +120. Vandy 7-1. Texas 6-2. Let's see here. Vandy's offense averaging 433 yards a game, 230 through the air, 203 on the ground, 38 points a game. They're 24th in rushing offense in the country. 24th. That's not terrible. That's actually very, very good. Defensively, they give up 322, 220 through the air, 101 on the ground, 18 points a game. Their run defense is 18th in the country. So they can run the ball and they can stop you from running the ball. Texas, however, offense 375 yards a game, 235 through the air, 139 on the ground, 29 points a game. So what that means is Texas is not that good at running the ball, and they're probably not going to run the football Saturday well. Arch might get back there and he might, pick up some first downs with his legs, but that's going to be the extent of Texas's run game. Texas is going to have to win this game through the air. I've heard. Here, let me stop rambling. Let me just give you the defense here. Texas defense, 300 yards a game, 219 through the air, 80 on the ground, 14 points a game. They're third in rush defense. So they also don't like to let you run the football. Vandy's 24th in rushing offense. Texas is third in rush defense. So that right there, that's going to be the deciding factor, is if Texas can stop Vandy's run game, can that boy Pavia beat you with his arm? We'll have to see. And this is what I was going to say a while ago. I've heard people say Texas is going to win this game, and Texas is going to beat this. Texas, no matter what A&M does, Texas will beat them because Texas just finds a way to win. That's what they do. They're 6-2. Came from behind against Mississippi State. Okay, Texas finds a way to win. I've heard that for a few weeks now. After they lost to Ohio State, Florida, every other game, they have found ways to win. Which is true. They're 6-2. But let's look at their schedule real quick. Who they have played. They took the loss to Ohio State. Listen to this 3-week slate. They beat San Jose State. They beat University of Texas El Paso. And they beat Sam Houston State. Now, which team in the Power 4 could not win those 3 games? I'm sure there's a couple of them, but not very many. And if you're Texas, those are gimmies. You put those on the schedule for a reason, and those are to win. And then you go to Florida, you lose that game. But then they win the next 3 games. Let's look at who it was. Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. That's a battered John Mateer. That's a John Mateer who just came off a hand surgery. And they beat Kentucky, who was probably the worst team in the SEC. Then they beat Mississippi State, come from behind and beat them. Mississippi State is also an awful team in that conference. I think they'll get good, but this year they've lost too much. Let's see here. Vandy's quarterback, Pavia, he's put up some good numbers this year. He's I'm not going to read everything like I've been doing. He's QBR is 12th. He can run the ball too. He's got 15 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns. Running back, they got a good run game. Got a few guys who can catch the ball out there at receiver. Defensively, They got some guys that can get after you. And then Texas, Arch Manning, he's 15 pass touchdowns. He's got 6 rush touchdowns. His QBR is 77th, so significantly worse than Pavia. No run game, like I said. They got Wisner back there, but they really can't establish a run. Luckily, though, we got a few receivers who can go up and get the ball, and that'd be Ryan Wingo, that'd be DeAndre Moore, and that'd be Parker Livingstone. And then Texas defense. That's the reason why they're winning games, is their defense, not their offense. Their offense does just enough to win the game. Their defense wins them the game. So when I look at this, when I look at all of these things that I just read to you, I don't think Texas is going to run the ball. I think they'll try. I don't think they'll be successful. I think Vandy's going to stop them. Likewise, I think Vandy's going to try to run the ball, and I think Texas is going to stop them. I think Vandy is obviously going to get, first down here and first down there, but I think both teams are going to have to beat you with throwing the football. I think Vandy can beat you throwing the football. I think Texas can beat you throwing the football. Okay, stay with me now. But I think Texas will win this game inevitably because, well, first of all, it's a home game. Okay, the atmosphere, the 11 o'clock kickoff window there. And then I just think Texas wins the game. Low-scoring game, 24-20 type game. Total's 45.5. That would be 44 points. So I'm going to take the under on that one. I'm probably not going to bet Texas to win the game. I'm telling you, I think Texas will win the game, but I would bet the under on that one. Defensively, Texas gives up 14 points a game. Vandy gives up 18 points a game. So that's an under. That's an under game for sure. That's all I got to say about that one, really. I just think Texas gets it done. Like I said, Texas really haven't played that tough of a schedule. The games that they've won, other than Oklahoma, Kentucky, Mississippi State, San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State, a lot of teams can win those games. A lot of teams that are not in the Southeastern Conference can win those games. Okay. So, not impressed, but I still think they find a way to beat Vandy this weekend because of their defense. Next game. Oh, this one. I'm excited about this one. Navy at North Texas. Navy 7-0, North Texas 7-1. Spread is -6.5 for North Texas, and the over is 63.5. Navy's offense is 477 yards a game, 158 passing, 318 rushing. That's first in college football. You know what they do. Navy runs the football. Army runs the football. All those military schools run the football. 37 points a game is what they put up on offense. Navy's defense, 373 yards, 256 passing, which is 117th. That's terrible. Rush defense, they're getting up 111, I believe, on the ground, which is 30th, which is good. And then North Texas, 493 yards per game, 316 passing, which is 6th, 176 on the ground, 46 points a game, which is first in college football. Their defense, they're getting up 170 through the air, which is 19th, which is very good. And then their defense is giving up their rush defense is giving up 190, which is 120th. Which what that means is Navy does not have a pass defense. And North Texas is very, very good at throwing the football. But what that also means is Navy is first in rushing offense. And North Texas is one of the worst teams in college football at rush defense. So whoever picked this 63.5 for the total, they said that Navy is going to run the ball and score a lot of points running the football. And likewise, they said North Texas is going to throw the football and score a lot of points throwing the football. That's what it means. Minus North Texas -6.5. Let's see here. Blake Horvath, Navy's quarterback. He's got 12 touchdowns on the ground, 7 through the air. A few running backs there. You know what they can do. Eli Heidenreich, he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker there at Navy. I looked him up. I saw what he does. He's impressive. Keep an eye on that guy. And then North Texas, Drew Messmaker. He's 21 touchdowns, 4 picks, QBR 64. A few guys in the run game. Like I said, they don't run the ball too well, but they do throw the ball well. They have a few guys. Wyatt Young, Cameron Dorner, receivers. Defensively, secondary. Their secondary is pretty good. When I look at this game, as terrible as Navy's pass defense is, as terrible as North Texas' run defense is, neither team's ranked. I think Navy probably could be ranked, but I think they lose this game, and here's why. I think Navy will run the football. That's not going to be a problem. I think they will control the clock, they'll run the football, and they'll score points. But just as easy as they score points running the football, I think North Texas is going to be able to throw the football and score just as many. And then there's going to be times where I think North Texas has a better chance of stopping, because Navy does throw the football too. Navy does mix in a little run, or some passing game in there. And like I said, North Texas pass defense is pretty good, so I think North Texas probably can cause a turnover somewhere at any point in the game. And that's why I take North Texas. I think it'll just be this team scores, that team scores, this team scores, that team scores. But somebody's going to cause a turnover, and I think that somebody is Navy, which would give me taking North Texas to win. That's where I got that from. I like that theory. I like that idea. And for that reason, I have North Texas winning 34-28. What's that? 34-28. 44, 54, 64. It's like 62 points. So that's under 63. I don't know. I'm just going to take North Texas to win the game. 34-28. That would be Navy plus 6.5 also. So you never know. Number 5, Georgia at Florida. It's not at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, so you don't have to worry about going to the swamp. Georgia 6-1, Florida 3-4. Holy cow, dude! Did you see Georgia's last game? It was against Ole Miss. Gunnar Stockton, probably the best game of his career. I think he picks up where he left off. I might just go. I might not even read you all this stuff, but I will tell you this: Georgia's offense, they're putting 190 yards on the ground, 33rd in college football. 91. Their defense give up 91 yards, which is 11th, which is very good. They don't like you running the football. Florida's offense, 234 through the air, 69th in their run defense, is 32nd, giving up 117. So that's just the SEC football, stopping the run. And then, like I said, 69th, that's like bottom tier college football pass defense. However, they do stop the run, and Georgia runs the ball well. Gunnar Stockton runs the ball well. Out of all these games I picked, I was like, some of these games are going to have to be close. Some of these games, there's got to be an upset somewhere. And I don't know where that upset is. It may not even be a game that I predict this week. But I know this game was like a 2-possession game last year, 2-score game. And I know Georgia, in my opinion, was better last year. I don't know what the stats say, but I feel like Georgia's offense was better last year than it is this year. And I think Florida's offense, Florida as a team is better this year than they were last year. Now they're in a vulnerable spot. They just lost their head coach. He got fired. They're looking to, they're out of the playoff. They're out of pretty much anything they want. They're 3-4 right now. They're out of anything meaningful. They're out of meaningful football. You might can go see them in the Cheez-It Bowl or something. The Honey Nut Cheerio Bowl. I don't know, but they can upset you. I'm sure they're going to come out Saturday and they're not going to be like, well, we know we're going to lose, guys, but let's give them a fight. I don't think Florida comes in with that mentality. I think they come out, they play physical football, they try to match Georgia's intensity. Inevitably, I think Kirby Smart's a better coach than whoever is Florida's interim right now. But I think Florida finds a way to keep it close, keep it entertaining, and I think Florida covers. I do. Georgia is the favorite, minus 7.5. Totals 50.5. Money line Georgia minus 290. Florida plus 240. I'm not going to take Florida to win because I don't think they will, but I think they will get close. I have written down here Georgia wins this game 24-23. I also have written down here Gunnar Stockton just came off the best game of his career, in my opinion. I think he picks up where he left off. Now you say he just threw 4 touchdowns. Okay, he ran the ball good. I think he had a rushing touchdown as well. And you're saying he's going to pick up where he left off. But if he had accounted for 5 touchdowns last week, maybe even 6, I'm not sure how many it was, I forgot. And you say he's going to pick up where he left off, why are they only scoring 24 points? Well, I don't mean he's going to score that many points. I just means he's going to look good. He's going to look good back there. He's going to throw the football. He's going to run the football. He's going to throw some touchdowns. He might run a touchdown. 24 points only gives you 3 touchdowns. But I feel like every touchdown that Georgia has is going to be due to him. Due to him throwing the football to somebody or due to him running the football in. I don't think Georgia's running backs, Chauncey Bowens, Nate Frazier, I don't think they're going to have much of an impact. I think it's all going to be Gunnar Stockton. Okay. And if Florida loses this game but covers, hey, they're 3-5. But that's something to build on with this Georgia team. This Georgia team isn't the Georgia team of the past. Defense is not near as good as they used to be. Offense is not near as good as they used to be. But they're still ranked 5th in the country. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Just something to build off of. Mm. 13 Texas Tech at Kansas State. Texas Tech favored minus 7.5. Totals 53.5. Texas Tech money line minus 275. Kansas State plus 225. Texas Tech 7-1. Kansas State's 4-4. Let's look at who these teams have played. Kansas State lost to Iowa State overseas, first game of the year. Beat North Dakota, lost to Army, lost to Arizona. Beat UCF, lost to Baylor. Beat TCU, and just beat Kansas very, very convincingly. Texas Tech has beaten Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, Oregon State, Utah, Houston, Kansas, lost to Arizona State, beat Oklahoma State. I don't count that loss to Arizona State against them either because Arizona State is very inconsistent this year. Go look at who they just lost to. And Iowa State is too. Anyways, Texas Tech, 43 points a game, 4th. Their offense, their passing game is 12th with 300 pass yards. Texas Tech's run defense, they give up 68 rush yards a game, which is 1st in college football. Kansas State, their running back's name is Joe Jackson. Avery Johnson, he likes to run the football too. He's got 5 rush touchdowns on the year. Probably won't hear that this week. Probably won't hear Avery Johnson with a rushing touchdown. Probably won't hear Joe Jackson with the touchdown, with the score, with the 10-yard rushing touchdown. Probably not going to hear that this week because of Texas's rush defense. I didn't underline anything from Kansas State because nothing they do really impressed me. What does impress me about Kansas State is they've won 3 of their last 4. Like I said, they lost to Baylor, but they beat UCF, TCU, Kansas after starting out abysmal with the loss to Iowa State, Army, Arizona. Okay, they lost 3 of the first 4, and they've won 3 of the last 4. So, Texas Tech on the road. I think Texas Tech. Here, let's just see who Tech plays next. I think I know who they play next week, but I want to confirm. Because I did say something earlier in this broadcast that I meant what I said. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. Texas Tech plays BYU next week. Only way Texas Tech loses this game is a look ahead. They look ahead and they say, hey guys, Kansas State, we know we're going to beat these guys. We need to focus on BYU. And then Kansas State just comes out and takes it to Texas Tech at Kansas State at their home place, at their home field advantage, and wins the game. Do I see that happening? No. If Texas Tech hadn't already lost a game this year, it's likely. But I don't see it happening. I think that Texas Tech's going to win this game outright. You look at the passing game, like I said, 12th in the country, Baron Morton. And even if they had to play one of the other guys, I think they're fine. Their offense is fine. Texas Tech's always had a great offense. Defense is always the problem. And then you look at this year, their defense is a championship quality defense. And I have written down here all of the stats, all of these playmakers on each team. Could it be close? Could it be interesting? Maybe. But I think Texas Tech knows what they're up against. I think they know Kansas State's intentions. And I think they score often, score early, and don't let their foot off the gas. Texas Tech's putting up 43 a game. I don't think they'll put that much up. But I got them winning this game 38-13. 38-13, Texas Tech. I'll take them to cover -7.5. That's how I'm feeling. Next game. Oh, I'm going to take a nap during this one. 15, Virginia at Cal. Virginia 7-1, Cal 5-3. I don't see how either team has a winning record, but oh well. Virginia's favored -4.5, totals 54.5. Virginia -190, Cal +160. Virginia's beaten Coastal, lost to NC State. Then they beat William Mary, Stanford, Florida State, Louisville, Washington State, and North Carolina. So, hey, they beat Louisville. That's the only thing that looks good there. Cal has beaten Oregon State, Texas Southern, Minnesota, lost to San Diego State, beat Boston College, lost to Duke, beat North Carolina, lost to Virginia Tech. Okay. Virginia, quarterback Chandler Morris, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks, 65 QBR. What's even worse is, I'm not even going to say his name, don't know how to pronounce it, but Cal's quarterback, his QBR is 46.2, 106th in the country. 11 touchdowns, 7 picks. Chandler Morris has 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. So, neither team, not impressed with either team, like I said. I didn't highlight anything about Virginia's offense or defense. Nothing impressed me. Cal's passing defense, 34th. Their offense is 44th. So Cal can throw the football. Quarterback almost has 2,000 yards on the year, 11 touchdowns. And they're 5-3. Must mean their field goal kicker is pretty good. Virginia, let's see what they do. Ooh, Cal's rushing yards per game is 88, so they cannot run the football. Like Texas, probably not going to run the football. Virginia's run defense is mediocre. I really don't want to talk about this game. I'll just tell you what I wrote down here. I said Virginia. If you look at a map, Virginia's going to be over here, and Cal's over here. Different time zones, different regions in the country. You got the Pacific over here, and you got the Atlantic over here. This team is going to fly all the way across the country to the Pacific side, the Pacific coast, Pacific side of the U.S. To play Cal. Top 15 team goes across the country. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You know, I talked about picking an upset. This could be it. This could be it. I mean, that spread's only 4.5. What I think is, let's see here. Cal's pass defense, like I said, they're pretty good. Virginia, their pass defense is not. Virginia's run defense is okay. Virginia's rushing offense, they're running for 185 yards a game, throwing for 251. Virginia's running back, they got a few guys back there who can tote the rock. A few guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think Virginia runs the ball. I think they just run the ball, throw it whenever you need to. But I think they just try to keep it on the ground. Not sure what the weather's going to be like, if it's going to be rainy, windy, what have you. Not sure. But I'm going to take Virginia to win this one. Just Virginia money line. That's all I'm going to say. That was depressing. South Carolina at number 7, Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored minus 12.5. Total 53.5. Ole Miss minus 550. South Carolina plus 380. South Carolina's 3-5. Ole Miss 7-1. Ole Miss's passing offense is 8th in the country. Their pass defense is 41st in the country. South Carolina's pass D is 35th in the country. We know Ole Miss has a great offense. Their defense is okay. Could be better. Ole Miss did just impress me last week with their win against Oklahoma. And for that reason, I want to take Oklahoma or Ole Miss to win this game. South Carolina, I don't know what their deal is this year. I guess they just probably, like Texas, had some expectations. And although Texas has a winning record and is still in the top 25, Texas has not met those expectations. I think we can all agree on that. All 2 of my people that watch this. But South Carolina has definitely been underwhelming this year. So that minus 12.5, I'll take that. I'll take Ole Miss minus 12.5 because I got it all written down. The stats, the players, who does what. South Carolina beat Virginia Tech, South Carolina State, and Kentucky. They lost to Vandy, Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama. Ole Miss's only loss was to Georgia in a game they probably should have won. They got conservative. I think Ole Miss, like I said, they should have won that game. They should be number 5 and not number 7. They'll probably move up in the rankings this week, after this week. I think they keep their foot on the gas pedal. What's their offense? Their offense puts up 37 points a game. I think they score way more than that this week. I think they score 51 points. I have Ole Miss winning this one 51-17. Don't ask me why, because I couldn't tell you. I just think they would. What's this game? 8, Georgia Tech at NC State. Georgia Tech favored minus 5.5, total 57.5. Georgia Tech minus 195. North Carolina plus 165. Georgia Tech's 8-0. North Carolina State is 4-4. Georgia Tech is 12th in the country in rushing offense. NC State is 29th in passing offense and 46th in rush defense. So Georgia Tech can run the football. They can throw the football too. And then NC State's best thing about their defense is their run defense. Will North Carolina State, NC State, as I like to call them, contain America's quarterback Haynes King? The true dual threat in college football. The number 8 ranked Georgia Tech run game. Will they be able to control that, contain that? I'm not sure. But Georgia Tech also wrote down here they got a kicker, Aiden Burr, 94% field goal percentage, 55 long. So he is good. So if it's a close game, 3 points is better than no points. He's got a long of 55. He can put points up. NC State, they are 4-4. But they're better than their record indicates. They've lost 2 in a row. Notre Dame and Pitt. Lost to Duke. Also. And they lost to Virginia Tech. Can't have that. Virginia Tech's terrible. I think that inevitably, if NC State miraculously can shut down Georgia Tech's run game, that's obviously going to put a damper on things for Georgia Tech because they like to run the football. But I think Georgia Tech can throw the football, and I think they will. And I think this is the game that they would open it up to do so. So I like Georgia Tech to win this one. I'll just take Georgia Tech money line. I don't think they get upset by NC. I think they could. Anything could happen. We know that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Georgia Tech money line. Next game, 18 Oklahoma at 14 Tennessee. Tennessee reminds me a lot of Ole Miss. Great offense, defense, suspect. Only thing is Tennessee's defense is significantly worse than a mediocre Ole Miss defense. Okay, both great offenses. Both offenses can score a lot of points. For instance, Tennessee's offense scores 45. Oklahoma's defense. Someone talked me into picking them last week. Tennessee's favored in this one, minus 2.5, total 56.5. Money line, Tennessee minus 145. Oklahoma is plus 125. I have written down here, I said OU is picked to lose because of the Ole Miss game. Oklahoma was favored last week. I didn't understand why. And inevitably, I fell for it. I took Oklahoma, and Ole Miss beat them, as I figured they would. But I started reading into it a little too much, and I said, Oklahoma's defense is this good? They're this good? Oh, they're going to shut down Ole Miss. That didn't happen. It was a good game, though. It was pretty close. Tennessee's defense, like I said, they're significantly worse than Ole Miss is. So I think Oklahoma's offense is going to score points. I think it'll be just like last week. I think Oklahoma has an opportunity to win this game. I think they do. A better opportunity than they did last week in a game that, like I said, it was like a 1 or 2 possession game. It wasn't a blowout by any means against Ole Miss. The only thing I see going in Tennessee's favor in this one is, like I said, their high-powered offense. I like Tennessee's offense to score against this Oklahoma defense that is very, very good. OU's pass defense is 10th in the country. Tennessee's passing offense is 3rd in the country. Okay, so, and Tennessee, they can also run the football, but OU's run defense only gives 84 yards on the ground. So, I think Tennessee's going to score. I think whether they choose to run it or throw it, I think they're just going to put the points up, just like Ole Miss did last week. I think this one comes down to turnovers. Okay, and that'd be turnover on downs. That would be a team trying to get cute and go for a 4th down, or maybe you're in like a 4th and 5 situation and you get the defense to jump. Okay, that's bad on the defense, and that's how you get beat. That's how you lose this game. I don't feel like Oklahoma wins this game by more than 10. I don't think Tennessee wins this game by more than 10. I think it's close. I think it's either going to be like a 26 to 24 type game, or it's going to be like a 39 to 35 type game. I don't think anyone will score 40 points. Despite this Tennessee team scoring 45, I don't see that happening. I think it's a close game. Tennessee minus 2.5. I think it'll be about 5 points either way. 5 or 6 points. No more than 6 points. If Oklahoma wins, no more than 6. If Tennessee wins, no more than 6. Whether the score is 6-0 or whether the score is 38-32. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to take. Man, I don't know. I'm going to take Oklahoma plus 2.5. I might even move the line to plus 6.5 just because I think that if they lose, it won't be by much. But Tennessee's defense is not impressive. They're not good. The last two games I'm going to talk about. Number 23, USC at Nebraska. I had this one as a blowout. You can probably guess in whose favor. USC's favored minus 6.5. Total's 59.5. USC minus 240. Nebraska plus 200. USC's passing offense 326 a game, first in the country. Nebraska's passing offense 272 a game, 26 in the country. Nebraska's pass defense 127 a game, second in the country. So you got USC's number 1 passing offense versus Nebraska's number 2 passing defense. Nebraska or USC's rushing offense, they run the ball for 203 yards a game. Nebraska 128 yards a game. Okay, so they run the ball better, and Nebraska gives up more in the run game than what USC does. USC does have a running back that's hurt. I'm not worried about that. I think USC is going to throw the football. I don't think Nebraska's defense, like I said, 127 yards a game. They played Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern. Nebraska 6-2. They lost to Minnesota. They lost to Michigan. And none of those teams, however, impressed me with their pass game. Okay. And we're talking about the number 1 team in the country in passing and throwing the football. Southern California. Jaden Mayava. Over 2,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 picks, 92.1 QBR, which is also first in the country. This guy, he's the real deal. Last year, I think preseason, I don't know if this is on record anywhere, so you can call me a liar if you want to, but I think preseason, I had him to start over Miller Moss. I think the first game of the year, I talked about him last year, 2024 season. I talked about Jaden Mayava this, Jaden Mayava that, and then Miller Moss was the starting quarterback. Okay, so I look stupid, but maybe it should have happened. Either way it goes, I think Matt Rule, don't think he'll be at Nebraska next year. I think he's going to go to a better job. I said his name's been out there in the Penn State job, I've heard. Not sure if that's where he's going to go, but I think he'll go elsewhere. Because inevitably, Matt Rule is a good head coach. He's a good coach. He's got guys who believe in him. And Nebraska, I believed in him. I figured they'd have a successful year. And 6-2 is not bad at all. Texas is 6-2. There's a lot of teams that are 6-2. But when you look at that conference, 6-2 doesn't get you much. Okay. So I think Matt Rule, there's many schools he could go to. I think Matt Rule could go coach in the SEC. I think he could coach. If Matt Rule, I don't think he would get offered it. But I think if you sent Matt Rule down to Florida to coach the Gators, I think they'd be a good team. I think they'd be a contender. I think if you sent Matt Rule to the Big 12 to coach, Baylor, he already did that, and he was a contender. So that's a terrible. Send him to the ACC. Send him to the Atlantic Coast to coach. Who's a good team who's a team that he could turn around. I've got several in my head right now. Florida State, Duke, Florida State or Duke. Send him to one of those two programs. I think he makes them a contender in that conference. Despite the Miamis, the SMUs, the Clemsons, despite all that. Virginia Tech, they're looking for a head coach. You could send him to over there. What's it, Blacksburg or whatever? Send him over there. He makes the Hokies a contender. But I don't think Matt Rule at Nebraska is a contender. I said it preseason. I said they were. And 6-2 if they win out, and they're 10-2. That's good. The only problem is they have losses to Michigan and Maryland. I don't think Oregon's going to lose another one. I don't think Ohio State's going to lose one. I don't think Indiana's going to lose one. Okay, so USC, they're obviously a contender. 5-2, losses to Illinois and Notre Dame. But even USC's a contender, a legitimate contender. I've said a lot of things, and I'm just going to tell you this. I have it written down here, and I firmly believe it. USC's going to win this game 45-26. USC covers. They win easily. It's never a game. At halftime, it's going to be over with. Whatever points USC has at halftime, Nebraska at the end of the game will not have that many. Last game, 17 Cincinnati at 24 Utah. Game days there. I'm going to be really quick with this one. Dampier, not sure if he's hurt. Not sure what the situation is there. But this cat, Bird Ficklin, he came in last week. He's played a couple games. He's 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, 37 carries, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he's a legitimate dual threat. He's like Devon Dampier 2.0. Okay, so Utah's offense hasn't wavered. But the disrespect to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 17th ranked team. Utah's 24. This is going to be one of those games you watch where both teams are in the top 25. Utah's favored, -9.5. Utah's playing at home. Utah wins this game, they rush the field. Even though the sports books have them favored because they're ranked less in the AP poll than Cincinnati, they win this game, they rush the field. Watch and see. Do I think they win this game? I really don't know. This one's hard for me to predict. That 9.5 is a lot of points, I feel like. I'm going to jump on that right now, early, because I feel like the line's going to move closer we get to Saturday. So I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 9.5. I don't see why Cincinnati hasn't done anything to make me think. I mean, let's look. Brendan Sorsby, he's got 20 passing touchdowns, 1 interception on the year, 84.8 QBR, 8th in the country, and he's got 7 rushing touchdowns as well. So he's accounted for 27 touchdowns and has 1 pick, and he's 8th in the country QBR. Cincinnati's defense, they give up a lot through the air. But both offenses, Utah's rushing offense is significantly better. Their defenses, Cincinnati's pass defense is worse. Significantly worse. I don't know where they get this from. I like Utah. I've said a lot of great things about them. I said they would be in the Big 12 championship, and I'm going to stand on that. But I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 9.5. As soon as I finish this video, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get on DraftKings, and I'm putting Cincinnati plus 9.5. And throwing probably $100 on that because Cincinnati hadn't, just like I said, BYU hadn't done anything to prove to me that to bet against them. Cincinnati hasn't either. You get Cincinnati to play Nebraska again. That week 1 was a fluke. They play again. Cincinnati beats them. Sorsby is not a one-man show. He doesn't do it alone. It just looks like he does because of how good he is. I don't even know if this guy's in the Heisman conversation. 27 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns. I think if they win this game, I think if Cincinnati wins this game and he has a good game, he needs to be in the conversation. I'll put him in the conversation. I'll get on Twitter. at On3 Sports, at whoever, at Josh Pate, at Pardon My Take, at Bussin' with the Boys, at whoever. I'm gonna say, hey, let's talk about this guy real quick. Not only is he good, but let's talk about him as a legitimate Heisman contender. Because I don't think Haynes King, are even doing what this guy's doing. Maybe on the ground, but not through the air. So shout out Sorsby. I'm impressed with that. Plus 9.5. I'm taking Cincinnati plus 9.5. And that's all I got to say. That's all I want to talk about. And that's just the bottom line because Gridiron Gilly said so.